Okay, when you get your ice cream machine home, the first thing you'll need to figure out is a power source. Now these draw a lot of power. You'll definitely need a 20 amp breaker. If you look at your breaker panel, each breaker will have a 15 or a 20 on it, showing you the amps that it's willing to handle. This ice cream machine, actually, if you look at it, it says that it pulls 24 amps, which normally they don't make one that pulls that many amps on a 110 circuit. So ideally, if this can be plugged in straight into that outlet, that is best. I will have a heavy duty extension cord for you that you can use to plug it in, but it may trip on you in the process of making your ice cream, so you'll want to make sure you have access to that breaker so you can reset it if needs be. But once you've got it plugged in, there's an on-off switch right here, button that says power supply. So when you flip that on, it will go into a standby mode. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. So standby mode, on the controls, on the left side, you can see the stop button, the wash button, the freeze button, and then a keep fresh button. Really, you'll use the stop, wash, and freeze. I don't do the keep fresh much. When you push wash, it'll start spinning the cylinders inside to clean. On the screen, it tells you the voltage that's being pulled. Gives you how many cones have gone through the machine, the current temperature inside the chambers where it's freezing. When you switch over to freeze, I'm going to push it for a second. You really shouldn't push freeze unless you have ice cream inside of your hoppers. When you push freeze, it starts cooling the cooling unit, and it'll tell you here how cold the ice cream is inside. So it'll say 0%, 20%. We just heard the compressor kick on and it'll start getting colder. You'll want this 20% to get up at least to 60% before you start pulling any ice cream from it. Once it's at that 20% or at 60%, you should be able to start pulling ice cream. So I'm going to put it back to clean. So to pull the ice cream, it's really pretty simple. This handle coordinates with the ice cream that's in the right side. This handle coordinates with the ice cream you have in your left side. And then you've got your twist in the middle. And you'll just slowly pull this. And as you slowly pull, ice cream will start coming out of down here. The center one's a little harder to pull for some reason, but works the same. They have gaskets inside that keep it from leaking. So usually the first thing I will do before I start putting my ice cream in is I'll put a quart or two of water in each side of the hopper and just make sure that we don't have any water leaking through. Because if there's water leaking, we can always tighten some of the knobs, or look at the gaskets, take it apart and look at gaskets to make sure it's sealed. I've lubricated all the gaskets and tightened everything up, so you should be good to go. But just put some water in it, pull the handles, drain the water out, and then you're good to go on putting the ice cream in the hoppers. There's some measurements in there that tell you how much ice cream you've got in there. I've got 2 buckets here for mixing. They've got measurements on them that tell you how much water you've put in. I usually mix the ice cream with an immersion blender, and I'll fill it about half full, put all of the mix in, get it all mixed up, and then put the rest of the liquid in that's needed. That just makes it easier for the immersion blender. It doesn't have to be so far down in the bucket. But each of the bags of mix that I have for the vanilla and chocolate say to mix it with 8 quarts. And you can see we've got 5, 6, 7's probably here. It doesn't tell you exactly. So 7 quarts is over here. So 8's just a little higher than the 7. So it says to mix it with the 8 quarts. So by the time you add the powder, your bucket's probably all the way full. You may decide just to do half a bag at a time and go with 4 quarts of water and half of the bag of mix. But you can use the buckets to help with the mix. Once you pour it in, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes before the ice cream's ready, and it should keep up and maintain unless they're really hitting it hard. If they're hitting it hard, you can hold off and make them wait a couple minutes for it to catch up. It does have a holder here that you can dump the ice cream cones in, and then they can pull them out one at a time, or you can just have the ice cream cones on the cart. I do have the cart strapped down with a bungee strap to hold it so that it doesn't tip over off the cart and makes it a little easier to move. So that's the basic process of getting your ice cream made. I'll have another video that I'll post on cleaning the ice cream machine.